All right.
Welcome to another episode
Welcome.
of Let's Talk.
Yes, welcome everybody. That's the second episode already, right? Last time we more like had a chit chat among us, right? So what's gonna happen
Yeah,
a little bit in 2026?
you've sat
This
in
is a real
a
episode.
hotel room. This is a well, we're still remote, Sven.
Yeah,
It's not Finland this time. Um,
it's also not the office for us, right?
no, it's
Yeah, yeah,
neither the office nor Finland. But we
you're
did
right.
have this chit chat. You were on site with a conference. You were spending a lot of thoughts about 2026, what's going to come, and we're going to continue that today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think today we're gonna just really put way more weight into it, I would say, right? Because I mean, we should announce it right away, actually, right? So we have Yaad here, Yaad Oren, Managing Director of SAP Labs USA, and also Global Head of Research and Innovation. And we have actually, and in pre-chat, we discussed already 6 trends that he's seeing coming up for 2026. And I think we're just gonna discuss these, but I mean, compared to the last episode where it was basically Sven at a conference, and you've also been at a Chaos Communication conference, by the way, right?
Yeah,
It's way more um,
business and
deep,
enterprise
I would say.
oriented
This is
and
deep.
deep.
So exactly. Well, let's say hi
With that,
to Yad, I would say. Okay, welcome, Yad. How are you doing?
welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here. Yeah, doing great. Thank you.
Let me actually to break the ice, and not that we need to break the ice, but we heard so many bad weather things about the US actually. So you're based in California, right? Is how's the
Yeah,
weather in California? Because in New York, I know it's freezing cold, I believe.
yeah, no, we are exempt. You can see by the background or here, there is no really bad weather.
Okay.
Yeah, 2/3 of the continent is under severe weather, and there are
Yeah.
some bad stories, but we'll figure it out.
But it's not the case for California. Okay.
Yeah,
So
California,
California is still the sunshine
most of the
state.
time yeah, most of the
It
time is
never rains in California, right?
yeah,
Okay.
true.
Well, fingers crossed that also the rest of the US actually becomes normal again, actually quite soon, actually, right? From a weather perspective. So 6
How do
trends you
we
shared with us. Should we actually jump right into the first one to actually roughly at least make our time commitments? So,
Yeah.
do we? Right. So the first one you shared with us, and it's called. I think internally we called it "Future of AI." It's called AI native software architectures. So can you explain a bit what is meant with that actually?
Yeah. And I think we can divide it into two parts. First of all, I think AI needs no introduction about the level of disruption we already see in our industry. And we're talking about current trends of AI. Those are becoming very familiar with AI agents that can do reasoning and solve some complex business problems. But the second part, where the story becoming even more interesting and where we are spending a lot of time in the research innovation in SAP, is looking even to the more complex and advanced AI technologies that are coming. Now, I know it might be sound overwhelming because AI already today, both in enterprise and consumers, is doing so much, and we cannot stop to be amazed at what the current generation of AI is delivering. But also in the research community, you can see already new type of architecture and new type of use case, which honestly will keep what we are seeing at the moment as potentially only the tip of the iceberg. And when we say
Okay.
new architecture, without getting too technical, of course, what we have today in generative AI is based on transformer architecture with this attention mechanism, basically of a certain way to do reasoning and a statistical way to predict what's coming or what can be the next word and so forth. This brought to life many use cases which are great regarding how you can do your workflows or write email by AI and so forth. But when we look into the new type of engine, new type of architecture coming, they provide new type of artificial intelligence, whether more like a gut feeling reasoning or longer memory that enable you to have
Mhm.
almost a lifetime assistance to go with you and understand how you do your business, which is very interesting, all the way to digest new type of data and provide really interesting new cases. This is fascinating. We can talk about it for hours, but what we're seeing is
Yeah.
the future of AI, and what we encourage everyone is not only to implement and try AI at the moment, but at least have an opinion about this new generation who is coming. Because I can finish this part by saying that, I was a developer in AI like 12 years ago. It was the narrow AI era, totally different era. Now we're in narrative AI era based on
Mhm.
architecture. Only a matter of time until a new generation will come. And those architecture, Mamba and other, I can give so many buzzwords around them are coming. And this is
Mhm.
where we spend a lot of time in SAP understanding what it means for enterprise IT.
Wow.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
the one follow-up question, because it reminds me a lot of when you said, like, more memory and everything. Do you think this kind of is this somehow related to AGI, basically? Is this kind of just
It's a great
would that
question. Yeah, I personally and humbly, I don't like the term AGI because I
mhm,
don't know how you measure this. When do you know that intelligence becoming, super intelligence or
yeah.
general intelligence? We just finished Davos, where there was so many discussion on AGI. There was a lot of awakening call from CEO of Anthropics and others that we that we will be tested as a species as well. But I
Mhm,
think when we talk about the next generation of AI, we're talking about um, a few notable things that we can measure. First of all, the disruption for what we have today with transformer architecture and Gen AI is the ability to set your own goals. I know it sounds a bit scary, but AI at the moment that we are yet to be in a situation when, Andreas, you can ask from the AI, hey, solve me this kind of financial workflow. And AI came back and tell you, I did it, but oh, by the way, I also help you to screen your candidate for this open position. You didn't ask for it. AI, some sort
Mhm.
of, it and set a new goal. We do see a very good delegation of agents that can do complex tasks, but they obey by the letter for what you tell them.
mhm,
What we're seeing now, and there are so many ways to tackle this from heuristic way to transfer learning that we see more and more. Again, it's in research. It's not yet there on scale. That
mhm,
AI is becoming much more able to set their own goals, and we're not in a situation yet when AI will tell you, "Hey, Sven, you asked me to find the right leads in your CRM, and I create
mhm.
this kind of nuclear weapon." This I don't believe in those doomsday, but we do see in AI for development tools, we do see
Yeah.
where AI with self goals. I keep it very short. Like I can be a Python developer and ask my AI assistant to say, "Hey, can you create this web scraping application for me or service?" And he will come back and say, "I made it, but oh, by the way, I observed as your AI assistant that you don't do your file manipulation very well,
Mhm,
CRUD operation. So I created Python script as well, just so you better manage your file manipulation." So this kind of
mhm,
self-set goal is getting there. It's also a topic that is being researched. And there are other ways that just to give in a high level manner of longer goals, longer memory, and a new way to reasoning. But this is the area how we tackle AGI, find really defined domains where we see progress. And I hopefully this will get us more human behavior, but I don't think it will be a super AGI do everything, conquer the world like many are feel from.
yeah. Okay. Interesting. Thank you for sharing this. Should we go on to the next trend that you shared with us? Are we ready
Yeah.
for this? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess all of this AI native software architecture, that's just one part. In particular, in an enterprise environment, there's a lot of proprietary data, and that does contribute to a data flywheel. And what do we have to understand there? What do I have to imagine with the data flywheel, and in particular, how is that unleashed?
Yeah, and this part is where I think we don't spend enough attention because AI is the most, sexy topics, and you always have
Mhm,
this beautiful video creation and jumping avatar. But the data, if I need to summarize in very simple words, one of the biggest trends is the future of data platform. I can tell you already that any data platform from SAP or hyperscaler won't look the same in 3 to 5 years. You need more services, mostly regarding to this AI, fueling AI, but also just to make sure you have the right data there, regulated and so forth. So the future of data platform, it stands on few legs. First of all, we believe there's going to be much more need for synthetic data generation services. Already in 2024, most of the AI models, 60% of them, according to Gartner, were built with synthetic data generation. The word data is already ran out. Everyone looked into Wikipedia
mhm,
and YouTube, so all the models have diminishing return. So the need to generate more data, business data is very important. In addition, the quality and metadata intelligence kind of services, how you can extract more for the current data is very important. But also, if I give something very interesting, there is a lot of research about how you can understand new data types. And we are usually looking beyond under the flashlight and say, okay, data is text, image, voice, but it just we don't uncover 90% of the possible data for enterprise. Just look what's going on right now. I saw an interesting, um, um, I don't know if it's a research or an opinion, but I saw this interesting article about, momentum data. Now you see, I'm talking with my hands. Things are progressing.
Mhm.
About AI understanding this in a sales meeting as
Mhm.
well. So we have some
Yeah.
semantic analysis and other, but there's so much data like a dark matter around us, which is not digest yet. And of course, the video and voice can go a big way. So if I summarize in the future of data platform, there are so many new services we need to make sure are there to serve the modern world, whether for AI with the right quality of data, with the right data types, but also, and I finish with that, it's where you have data with all the sovereignty. We have a lot of private data and regulations and others, how you
Yeah.
protect this. Rest to your point, proprietary data protection, IP. And this is a fascinating topic about the future of data platforms.
Very cool.
Mhm.
The next topic, hyper personalized user experiences, and I actually also have a point of view on that because the last thing I heard about UX is it might even go away, right? And the
Yeah.
agents are the new user interface. So, but this is really about personalized user interfaces, right? So I guess personalized experiences, which could just be an agent talking to me, right? But what do you think about that?
Yeah, so that's the trend that I'm personally the most interested in because
Hmm.
if I need to simplify it, this means how Generation Alpha, my kids, how they will interact with enterprise software.
Yeah.
And here, looking to research, it's absolutely fascinating. Sometimes I regret that I'm not a user researcher myself because the transformations went to your world in this generation is out of this world. So first of all, you're right. It's pretty safe to assume mouse and keyboard not going to be the dominant interface in the AI era. Because if you take one step back, this generation alpha that's going to go into the workforce in 2030, 2031, they were the first generation not only born mobile or digital native, they were the first generation born AI native, and
Mhm.
they were used to something else. And here you have a huge rainbow of things that at least according to early research, they will be expect. First of all, UI screen is going to be dynamics. It's need to change per
Hmm.
situation, per context. Then the interface, most likely, if you listen to researchers like Andrew Ng and others, voice going to be the main interaction where I can become proactive, agent call you, you need to do that. Maybe there is no even app anymore, no screen. One of the concepts we are working on, it's a no app that you don't really have a UI anymore
Hmm.
and even Muhammad, our chief product officer, announced it in last decade, SAP Connect. Sorry. So the point is that you have so many ways to do this, and we have also immersive glasses. Here in Silicon Valley is a very big topic. We have a few teams in my organization looking into this. I
Yeah.
think the race is still out there. How you're going to interact, and the most interesting thing, and I finish with that I heard about it, that there is also more need for this personal connection with the user interface. It's a generational paradigm shift. Maybe now I sound like my father, right? In my generation, nobody cared about, you have,
Oh, we feel it too, believe
yeah,
me.
We
So
we feel that.
but you
yeah.
see, when you see this early research, there is also some connection
Hmm.
you need. So there are so many ingredients there, but eventually the bottom line, new generation will enter the workforce. It's a paradigm shift. They were born AI native, not digital native and mobile native only.
Hmm.
Voice interaction, connection to the interface, how it changed dynamically. This is what they're going to expect and what potentially going to produce a lot of productivity gains as well.
Hmm. So this could actually mean that we finally see the end of the classical web interaction pattern basically at some
So
point, right? I mean, it's a trend, right? It's just starting. It's not doesn't mean it happens in 2026, but I guess that
It
what it means, right? That there's now a real potential for like, yeah, moving away from a mobile phone rectangular screen actually potentially, right? So
I think it's a journey. Of course, what I'm talking about is also longer term, but in 2026
mm,
already you're seeing, if you look if you look into the venture capital investment, you see proliferation of investment in voice recognition. Company like Vapi, 11 Labs. You see also the
mm,
big progression from Gemini and OpenAI on voice. So you see already big step towards some sort of disruption. I don't know. Nobody can predict
yeah,
how the interface will go, but you see many things that are showing step function in how you communicate with interface, not only screen, but voice is definitely one that we see a lot of would be from the venture capital as well.
Very cool.
Okay. Shall we move forward by one? The next one is something that we're, I guess that's in particular important to us because we did a series on that topic past year, and we do plan to do another series on quantum computing this year, and we do have a few talks lined up already. We did speak to a few professors and startups, but yeah, what's your perspective on quantum computing? Why is
Yes.
that important here?
So I'm happy that you had more session on quantum computing because this can take, of course, hours. But if I keep it very focused on what we do in SAP, and very important, I don't think 2026 will be the year of quantum yet. We see a lot of expectation that 2030 will be the decade of quantum, like 2020, the decade of AI. We see US government a lot of ambitions for 2027 for quantum with their winning plan for quantum. So definitely many efforts going there. At the moment in quantum, for SAP, we predominantly focus on optimization, where you can see by order of magnitude, without getting too much into quantum technology, how it works. But for optimization problem with exponential complexity growth, you can have order of magnitude improvement, how you do supply chain optimization or logistic. And this is a fascinating topic where, of course, SAP is a big right to win. And we have a very interesting collaboration with partner like IBM, where we can find the right algorithm that necessitate this hard decomputation of quantum and go to their computer and go back. There are so many other things in the quantum world which can be done, from encryption to quantum ML to improve the machine learning. But one thing that it's clear for SAP is everything regarding optimization. And here I'm actually very curious how this will pan out, because the value and the amount of problem solving you can do theoretically with quantum is unmatched for what you can do today with HPC, with high performance computation.
Very
Yeah,
cool. So I'm
learned the problem space already and the complexity, and I think we also built a bit of an understanding of the challenges, and by the time it's feasible, that has some promise, really. Nevertheless, let me ask you the next one that's equally important to us in Labs Talk. We did have,
I love it actually. So next one is awesome.
So do I. And
the quantum was also not bad, but anyway, so.
Quantum is it's not tangible. That's the issue with quantum. What is tangible is physical AI or embodied AI. What I think members from your team told us when they were on our show, when we spoke to Lukas and Adelia, and basically AI getting hands and feet in shape and form of robotics. That's another one of the trends that you shared with us earlier.
Yeah, and I'm very happy you talked to Lucas and Odile from my team. So you had all the smart people that leads this topic in my organization. But absolutely, physical AI. I'm happy we're talking about this. Is a certain type of AI which, like you said, Andreas, have of course the physical, the embodied AI in a machine, which progress, to be frank, much faster than I thought. The demand from customer is huge, because the value is there. Like you said, it's very tangible, and we see a few interesting angles. First of all, it's very important. It's not that robots are still. I mean, robots are there. I mean, today, if you go to enterprise warehouses or manufacturing floors, you most likely see robots there already. Too many humans walk the racks in modern warehouse already. But there were three big changes with the AI era that we are seeing that took this topic one step farther. One of them, you can do much more with less. I mean, with now you get the brain, you can put in a robot, and we heard about DeepSeek and others, all these kind of technologies with reinforcement learning, that you can put much more technologies in a smaller computation, and you can then have more task and more cognitive capability to a hardware than being one trick pony, if you will. The second thing, they can learn things that are in a better way. If you saw the great demo online from Figure AI, that a robot look at banana or other thing, never was trained to understand what banana is, but it's concluded it's a fruit. and then he put it as a pick in the fruit basket. So they learn better as well. But the third thing, maybe what many people are scared about, but for me, it's a very great step forward. They can coordinate better the physical AI. The coordination between a fleet of robots is better. So let's say, Sven, you and I are a robot, and address, tell us, hey, please pick up this skateboard around you. And it tells me to pick this skateboard, and I go and do this. But now I can understand, hey, I'm a robot, but Sven is closer. You can go there, and I delegate. So they delegate better. All of those kind of things move better. So coordination, learning, and
Yeah,
doing
Did you
less is
did you did you just say the robots will delegate tasks to you?
the robots now delegate between themselves. They can
Oh,
coordinate
okay.
better perception of the
and
environment. We have this word model as well, if you heard about it, to represent
yeah,
better environment. So of course I simplify many things, but all of those things which exist today are becoming much better. The learning, the ability to
mhm,
do more with less computation, which give a scale, and the coordination in large scale. It's also go to latencies and others and word models, but I'm pausing here. And then we
yeah.
find many cases around enterprise warehouse management and others, which we can talk for hours, but let me pause here
Yeah.
for a second.
The one thing that I found super amazing that I recently just understood is, right, once a physical robot has learned a certain task, of course, it's automatically available to the other fleet of robots that you have, right? So that means it might take a long time maybe for that robot to learn something, right? But then it's immediately available to all the others because you can share the memory basically, right? So that is very powerful when you think about it, right?
It's very powerful, and it's important to say, of course, in SAP, we don't play in the hardware space. Also in quantum, it's in robotic, using hardware partners. So with robotic, we have great partner like Neura and others. Um, but the two things we're doing in the software layer, which is very important, and Sven, to your point, of course, we enable business tasks, how you do inspection and you know and pick
Mhm,
and place and others, very important tasks with the human supervision and of course human guidance. But the second one, and this is the point which we don't talk enough about, all the guardrail around business process. I mean, you
mhm,
cannot just let the robot to do things. They need to be geofence and know the guardrail, what to do and not to do, access to certain things. This is where SAP can shine as well, because it's not only doing the business task, to make sure you have all the right, guarantee around this and guardrail as well. So this is the software layer when we see enablement of tasks, but also make sure everything is under, let's say, regulation and the right safety and the right compliance and auditing back, which is the non-functional side of robotic.
mhm. All right, cool. Then I think I
Awesome.
can maybe just talk about the last topic. It's called distributed, secure, and trusted cloud. That's kind of the future of cloud architecture. Um, and when I read a little bit the description, it talks about geopolitical fragmentation, new standards of secure distributed cloud, right? So yeah, it's a very current topic, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is you can say, the future of SaaS application, how you build them and the behind the scenes of everything we discuss and more. Look, we know that applications, enterprise application in 3, 5 years, not going to look the same cloud artifact you built from the same, let's say, architecture you have today. One simple reason is you have so many agents already now in 2026, they're going to increase. How you manage all of them, the bottlenecks between them, the onboard. There are so many things which required some opinion about cloud architecture of the future.
Mhm,
And this falls, if I need to summarize, into two areas. Definitely the entire load balancing and how you build the application that now are based
mhm,
more on AI, agent, assistants, whatever you call this AI artifacts you have, how they communicate, how they run efficiently, the GPU optimization. This is one thing that we need to look at. But the second thing is when, like you mentioned, everything regarding security and trust. We don't look in my organization on cybersecurity and things like this, but
mhm,
it is of course the trust, the privacy of data, the ability to maintain IP and serve regulation sovereignty. This is where SAP serve, for 54 years as a trusted vendor for the most sensitive industries, and we like to make sure we continue this way as well. So the future of cloud architecture, how you can manage all these crazy agents running out there,
mhm.
and so to make sure there is security, privacy, and regulation. This is the two main topics in this trend, which is going to be as well evolving as the AI
Mhm.
progress in our industry.
It's a very important topic and also super complicated, right? Because I mean, we have all these different privacy laws across the globe, actually, right? And yeah, super interesting topic, actually, and trend. Yeah, cool. Um, So
that
those were
we
the 6 trends, okay? But I have a couple more actually that I would like to ask you about actually, because in pre-chat we quickly talked about it already actually. And what about blockchain, for example? What about
Yeah.
other things that we typically saw in the last years? What happened with these actually? So let's maybe start with blockchain also.
Yeah. So first of all, you're right. In SAP, in the CTO area, in the research innovation unit, we look into many things. We also had project on, we tried brain computer interface, try something on, and of course, blockchain, others. And it's a good question where all the other trends. First of all, it doesn't mean they're not going to take place. It's just where we are prioritizing investment and relevancy for the enterprises across these 6 dimensions. Blockchain, I think it's amazing technology, but the volatility there is something that at the moment we are observing. When we talk about blockchain, very important. It's not the Bitcoin and the payments aspect of it. It's a very interesting part, but in enterprise use, it's great thing on it, like sovereign identity that you can own yourself as a token, all your credential in your wallet, or for smart contract that you can do notarization of privacy of document which need CPA science and other great use case. It's there a little bit of coldness with the investment you also see from venture capital. I think at the moment we hasn't seen the big um, jump into the pool from any enterprise that in our side will lead to big adoption yet. We might be wrong, but in order to have great public chain use case with everyone smart, like notarizing themselves, everyone transferring their identity without to onboard new vendors, we need more players to cross the chasm. And we're observing this. We do something with this, but we haven't prioritized it at the moment because we believe it's a little bit volatile in the macro political level, if you will. And you see also in the industry, this topic became, at least in enterprise space, maybe a little bit in the shadow of AI, physical
Yeah,
AI.
yeah.
Yes. But it's there.
Well,
Definitely.
yeah, I'm just saying, 2020 was then the decade of AI, basically. Then we go into quantum, and maybe
excuse me.
2040, 50 or so, we go into something else. Yeah, maybe blockchain. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, Andreas also accepted a call. Perfect.
No, I didn't accept the call. I just clicked away somebody. I have to call that person back later. But
No problem.
before
No
we
problem.
end that, Yaad, maybe to end on that note, outside those trends and blockchain, what else do we have to think of in 2026? What other technology may have an influence, not necessarily on SAP, but the technology world? What else do you see coming?
So maybe a very boring answer, but I cannot stress the importance of having a good and hygiene cloud strategy for customers as well. So in order to be on the cloud and do it in the proper way, which means with the right data platform as well, that you can bring data from SAP or from non-SAP, depends on which customer, which for this is not to push people to move for the cloud for the sake of transition, because as an engineer I can tell you all this innovation that will come, all those trends will be delivered in a cloud fashion. This is enabling us in engineering, right, to provide the right timely software and do change management and others. And sometimes I'm surprised in our industry how many customers still I don't know, hesitant, struggling, haven't made a decision to have a good cloud-based enterprise application and platform. This is maybe a very boring trend we hear about a lot, but becoming very critical because we still see many customers, many enterprise not there. And again, to be able to reap all this fruit, all those trends we discussed earlier, we need a very good cloud platform. The last trend or topics, which is also down to earth but very important, is everything regarding the regulation and any technology that can help us to make sure you are secured and you're compliant with regulation coming out. I think the less maybe trend from my side, the word of laws and warrants and regulation is not converging. It's actually proliferating. Yeah, we can talk for hours about that. Stop it globally, but see that you need more and more tools to to survive in this. Sometimes I'm kidding, they're more lawyers than data scientists,
Yeah.
right? Because they need to comply with all the. So there are technologies for this as well. And I think in 2026, just hearing what came from Davos and where I'm not a politician, but where the world is going, very safe to say that many new technologies can take laws, translate them into action, can automate a lot of regulation compliance. Hopefully, we're not going to need it, but the way we are going to, both good cloud hygiene and those tools to have law to action, specification to code, make sure you automate your compliance
Perfect.
just short term.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Yeah, thank you so much for this. That was exciting, right? So let's actually see, maybe we can also link to some online resources, right, on the SAP news channel or something like that. I'm sure we will have something to link to from the show notes. Thanks for your time, and we should maybe follow up at the end of the year. So maybe that's a good idea. So
Thanks for being here.
yeah, thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me. Thanks. Have a good one.
Bye bye. See you.
Ciao.